Anyway, uh, on to the second thing. Obviously, we won't go too deep into this. But yeah, I was having a discussion with someone, and she mentioned that she was like, "Hey, like my homie is out there, trying to get to know people. So she's in the dating world, going on dates, stuff like that." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool, that's great." And then she was like, "Oh yeah," and then she's kind of hoping that she bumps into a white guy because white guys tend to marry quicker. And I was like, "Oh, whoa, hold on. What do you mean?" So yeah, no. If she gets with a black guy, then like black guys would take forever to propose and marry you, whereas a white guy, it'd be a lot quicker. And I I don't know. I felt like I was like, what the hell? Like, nah, there's no. It's not like that. Like, I can get it in terms of African men taking longer. But the fact that it was just like a straight up known thing. Ukuthi, nah. If you date a black guy, really, just be prepared to sit and wait until your time, until they call you up to the counter. I found that to be very, very, like, I was taken aback by that. But I wanted to find out, what are your feelings? Would you tend to agree with the fact that we don't want to, given the fact that you and Togo are where you and Togo are? Is it true? Would the men them aren't about that ring life?
Side note: the only reason I'm not engaged or married at present is force majeure. It's out of my control.
Okay.
I think if me and you had this conversation 3.5 years ago,
yeah,
on who do you think is going to get married first between me and you, it would have 100% be me.
Okay.
So it's not a matter of Uguti. I personally don't. I think I agree with you. I don't think black men necessarily don't marry, or they marry, or they take their time, whereas white guys are just quick with it. But I think the general nature of which we live our lives, black people and white people, means that white guys are more likely to do things on a whim and just like whatever, let's just see where the wind goes and just do it, right? They're more likely to be more spontaneous in the things that they do, in their decision making as well. Whereas we always lean on the side of caution as black people in general. Like, we're just always, okay, before I spend this money, what will my life be like if I spend it? Like, there just has to be. We always have to think twice about everything. And even when we get married, for us, marriage is a long process, which involves a lot of things. Which involves, if you're African, just for example, it may not be, black people in general, but for Africans, it involves lobola, it involves gifts, it involves groceries, it involves many other things. Yeah, it's a big thing, right? Which, to be fair, it's a barrier of entry. All these things, not barriers, but they are barriers of entry.
No, you use the right term. It's exactly the right term.
White guy can just decide, okay, I want to get married. By the end of the same year, he knows that the process will be done. If I'm black, I'm thinking here today, if I want to get married to my partner today, 27 July or whatever it is, or August, I have to say, okay, so by the end of the year. Realistically speaking, a wedding is only at the end of a 2-year cycle.
As in post-engagement?
No, like post-engagement. Like, if I get engaged today, I'm likely going to have my wedding 2 years from my actual engagement. Those are things which... No, that's the reality. I think that's the reality most couples face. Some people, it's even longer now. Nowadays, I found the trend where people just lobola, and then they'll just be like,
call it a day.
I'm done for now. Give me a break. Local later. I've got several friends who've been engaged for over a year. It's one of those things where to take that next step, there's so many hurdles to jump over. You might as well just take your time with making the decision, because what lies ahead is a lot of work. And I think that's why, yes, black Africans will take their time, whereas white guys will just be like, okay, let's see how it goes. And it's also the nature of which they've been raised. Like, white guys are raised to just do things, like follow your dream, chase your passion. With everything we do, we always have to think twice, or 3 times, or 4 times, or 5 times. Ngoba ibudget ayivumi. Ngoba izimdola lingavuka lichikile kusasa, what must happen? So there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things which I think influence it, but you have the similar conclusion, but for different reasons.
I think, yeah. Obviously, when I sat down and I thought about it, and at first I was like, no, hey, you know what I mean? But then afterwards, when I sat down and I thought about it, I was like, you know what? Probably this is true, right? Statistically speaking, it probably is true because, like you said, they are as a you know, and they're in a man right now, right? Or as a Zimbabwean man, you know, there are barriers to entry. As an African, generally speaking, there are barriers to entry when it comes to marriage. It's not as easy as if I was just a white guy where the culture is a lot different. Then it's hey, I love you, you love me, you know, and then it's, let's get married. We buy the ring, we have a small ceremony, and voila.
Also, some of our families are big, you know. Bro.
Yeah, and so there's that, right? If you're looking at the white, and again, this is not all generalizing all white people. Generally speaking, you know, like at least for the white people that we know, right? Let's put it that way. And the stuff that we've seen over the course of our lives, it just looks a lot simpler, a lot more straightforward. You're not, you know, doing 10 million other things. But as an African guy, you know, like in our context, yeah, there is lobola, where it's literally that one. if you meet the wrong hand, Bago quarter, you know, $25,000, $30,000, $15,000, you know, and it's like, at what point does Senna have 20 G's, or even let's put 10 G's, $10,000?
Yeah.
Use, you know, just there chilling. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, right, this, I can let this go and I can continue on with my life. You know what I mean? So like now you have to sit and think about that, because obviously you're a young professional.
Yeah.
And you want to what? You want to win. You want to live a good life. You want to progress, right? So there's that you're trying to balance in terms of who Senna sees himself as and who Senna has the potential to be. There's that. And then there's also the other factor of like, okay, on my trajectory, can I afford to then go through all of this other stuff in terms of what the Lobola process involves, right? So you leave that money, and then there's all that other stuff, plus the ring that you have to buy, and then plus some chat, which is another thing, right? Where most people would ideally, they would like you to get married within a year, to have the white wedding within the year of what? Of you lobolaring or you getting engaged, or whatever the case is. Usually they want that back to back, you know? And you think, and then again, this is just from the perspective of a guy just thinking about it, you know?
Yeah.
Not what you're in it, but you're just thinking about it. Get done this immediately, because you're just kind of like, bro, this sounds long. You know?
Exactly.
It's like, it's this investment where like all of a sudden, all this other shit that you could do, where one of my friends was telling me, he was like, bro, like if I wasn't married right now, you know, I would have all of this capital that I could freely toss into the stock market or toss into, you know, crypto or whatever I want, and there's no liability. If I lose it, I lose it, but like if I hit big. You know what I mean? Where it's like you still have a lot of that autonomy. So as a guy, I think part of that goes into your mindset in terms of, I have all of this free will. Then I can wake up right now and be like, right, once I'm done recording, I'm going to do this. You know, whatever he wants to do. Boom, done.
Essentially what I said last week, I was like, once I finish work, I can literally get up and just either go to the gym, chill, watch TV. It's up to me what I do with my time. And I remember trying to schedule last week's episode with Mtobo was a nightmare, because he has, you know, other commitments beyond just recording this thing. A lot of it is financial. I think finances play a very big role in just your ability to make free decisions. And white guys obviously have more money. You say it with like little things.
This guy said white guys just have more money.
They just have more money, bro. Like he can choose right now. Like a lot of guys that I met during articles could decide to literally take a break from working, unpaid leave, to go travel in the US or to go travel Europe, or to take a gap year to go travel and just go see overseas, just like just like that. And those are things
again,
which
that's
affect.
That's
I
not
think
everyone though.
true, it's not everyone. But I think on average,
your statements. Hold 1 second. What I would amend your statement and say is when you say with the general white person, like you said, in terms of thinking about settling down in marriage and starting a family, the barriers to entry are lower. Period. Where it's not necessarily about what your economic output is, right? Even if it's the same as Senna's, even if it's the same as what Senna's doing right now, why not get married? With whatever money that you're making right now as Senna and where you are right now in life, if you're a white and you're like, cool, I'll get married right now.
But don't you think that
the barriers are much, much lower?
But don't you think that in general, having money just makes it easier to just make decisions on a whim? Why is it that a lot of women, and I hate to say this, but why a lot of women in poor communities always begezela emshadweni? But if you go to Hollywood where all these multi-millionaire women are chilling, it's okay, I'm tired, divorce. Because you have that autonomy that finances give you, that you can just be like, alright, nyahamba. Money is liberating, bruh.
Yes, I agree with the money is liberating, but that racial divide that you just explained, I disagree with that. But anyway, I'll leave that alone for a second.
What I took probably exception to with the statement that the person who made it was saying was, I think they were just trying to frame it as if it's a black problem that's devoid of various other factors. It's just black guys don't want to get married, which is not true in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's what I say. I think honestly the key is barriers to entry. I think it's just about how easy is it, and then also I think another layer of it is Christianity, for example, religion. I think the way that it is explains to a lot of like for us, right, is that marriage it touches a move. Once you're in. Into the divorce, we don't, like you said, begezela, right? We don't endorse, whether you've got your money is long or not, we don't endorse divorcing. So once you've picked your person, it's your one and only. So you already have that in your mind as well, as a guy and a girl. Once this is done, there's no reverse gear. Yeah, we're not going backwards. So it's like all of that, I think it's a multi-layered thing where all of that, one, the barriers to entry, the finances, the religion, all of that, and expectations too, you put that all together, and that could also kind of indicate why, your African dude might take a bit longer at the end of the day to propose or to get married, and like what you were pointing at, okay, if you're comparing it with white guys, obviously they will always have that element of privilege where for Senna to get to a point where he is I don't know if we're talking in consulting terms, to be a senior associate or whatever, the white guy probably took several less steps than Senna. Right, there's also that other component to look at. Right, there's a lot of stuff. Right, I don't think there's a right or wrong, but there's just a lot of things, which at the end of the day, the formula becomes the fast track to a ring is get yourself a white guy. But I would love to hear what people say. Have to say about that as well.
And this is something that I wish. I do think that a lot of people should stop pursuing relationships with the end goal of just getting a ring.
Absolutely.
I think there should be more. I think
that's where you go wrong.
Partnership than just wanting the ring. Otherwise, you overlook a whole lot of other things in pursuit of a ring.
Yeah,
and that's not a healthy way to approach life in general.
And then when hindsight hits you, where it's like, yo, I really wish I wasn't that desperate for this
ring.
You know what I mean? It just, when that hindsight hits you, bro, it hurts at the end of the day. There's been moments where, whatever it might have been in life, where you felt you put your full focus to, no matter what, I'm here to, you know, do my degree. I don't want to have any fun. I just want to get A's. And then now you reflect on your college experience. You didn't network. You didn't party. You didn't get to know your campus, your everything, right?
Yeah.
And then it was just, now you have a transcript full of A's, but you didn't get the college experience that everyone else got.
Yeah.
You know?
Now we're
So
telling varsity stories, and
you
you're
know?
just like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's you might have worked, yes, you might have landed a great job, but then also you always have that in your heart with ish. I wish I had maybe balanced my life a bit more, you know, because once you bachelor's usually, next thing is a master's, and masters are much shorter and much more intense, you know. So like it's a lot, you know, not just with marriage, but a lot of the time when you circle something and really that's it's the end goal in mind, and you know, a lot of stuff you like you said, you overlook it and you'll be in a tricky situation.
Yep. I agree with you.
Yeah.
My dad always says that in hindsight, everyone is a genius and everyone is perfect. And you don't ever want to look back and feel that way about any of your experiences in life. So yeah, marriage is no exception. Like, always also just enjoy life. No one is going to take it away from you. There's no time limit to this thing.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of the time people say, you know, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. So make sure with whatever you're doing in life, just try to take a moment, smell the roses, you know, and just be like, wow, I'm doing this thing. You know what I mean? Or I'm at this point. Just take a moment and just enjoy it how it would. You know what? Yeah, you know, and then continue on your journey, and you know, I think you'll be far better for it. But anyway, that is it for our constructive part of the podcast. It's time for us to get jiggy, get wild with it.